Hey, Master Life Path 11s. Welcome back. Queen Kuli here. How are you? I'm a Master Life Path 11 too. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been with me for a while, welcome back and thank you for coming. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Please continue to leave comments on the videos. I try to, and right back to each one of you guys. I am here for you. I am an activator and I am basically here. My job is to activate you, motivate you, help you understand how very special you are and help you with your gifts and get you in alignment so that you can complete your mission here on earth. For so many of you, you don't know what that is yet. You need help figuring it out. And I want to tell you, it's a process. It's not something where usually I can go in very quickly. Sometimes I can, but a lot of times it takes time for us to hash through what you've been through and then where you're going and what you want out of life, right? Because you can have different variations of what you're here to do. But I am here to activate you and to motivate you. If you want to work with me, you can do so one-on-one in sessions. I work with people for years at a time or months at a time. I also have the Brave Academy, which was created because I lived so much of my life in fear, especially professionally, and no more of that crap. And if you're doing that, please check out the Brave Academy because it is very hands-on and it will change your life. And I will be probably starting some sort of membership group, or I think I'm working on some stuff for you. For those of you that just want to consume information on your own, would you please let me know if you are interested in me putting up a course for you where you could just buy it and then go through it at your own pace. So I wouldn't be holding your hand, but you could just access it as you wanted to, and it would have workbooks, meditations. Let me know if that's of interest to you, because that will help me. Okay. So that's that. Everything's in the description box below. Today, wanted to talk to you about processing. Now, I say the word processing. So as you know, 11s, we are overthinkers. We tend to think about everything that we want to do in life a million different ways. It's just the way we are. One of the greatest gifts that we have is being able to put ourselves into other people's shoes. For many of you out there, if you're highly sensitive, like I am, like a lot of my clients are, you can feel other people's pain, you can feel other people's joy, which is wonderful and also terrifying and scary at the same time, depending on how awakened you are and depending on how many tools you have in your arsenal. If you don't have a lot of tools, it's terrifying. If you don't know how to move the energy through you and not hold on to it, it's terrifying. And then it becomes your burden. And that's not good. I just want to take a little side note here. This is very important. At any number, it doesn't matter what you are. The 11, 22s, 33s, the master life path numbers are here. That means we're older souls. We've done this quite a few times. We've had a lot of lifetimes, okay? Probably attributes to us being like, no, we're set. We're good. We got this. Normies don't really talk to us because we're deep people. We go deep. We don't do surface stuff. I make jokes. I have to because, life's too short and enlightenment should be fun. I mean, yes, it's serious, but should also be fun. Seriously. Um, but if you're out there and you're struggling with, I don't know, this is what I typically hear. And this was me. I think I'm special and you are. And I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something and I know it's big and important and major. And that is true because you're an 11 or 22, 33, but mostly this is for 11s today, this video. That's because as a master life path number, because you've been reincarnated so many times and been through this so many lifetimes, you don't have a community, small town vision. You have a huge vision for the world, whatever it is. I don't care if it's helping animals. I don't care if it's writing programs. I don't care if you're a singer. Whatever you want to do or you're doing or working towards, I'm pretty sure that you think, and you're right, that you have a global impact to make, and you do. Whatever has been placed on your heart is there for a reason. That means that you and only you can complete the task that's in your mind and your heart. Okay. So no judgment. You're totally right. And you're on point. The problem is that so many of us as 11s, because of our abilities to put ourselves in other people's shoes, we're so good at it. We overthink things way too much. I'll just call myself out like I always do as an example. Today is the 21st of August, 2023. I am really gearing up to take massive action because I want to change my business and have it grow, right? Like anybody would. I have taken very little action, but I've been very busy with clients and real life stuff, but that's not an excuse and it shouldn't be for you either. Because this is what happens. You wake up on a Monday or a Sunday, you're like, okay, I have this idea. It's going to happen. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I'm going to map it out. I'm going to do it. And then when the action time comes, we are like, oh, I got to do this, or oh, I got to do that. And you can even use cleaning the house, meeting with friends, going out, whatever, as a detour. And what happens is that is self-sabotage, whether you know it or not. Because what happens is you're like, oh, well, I'll just do it tomorrow. And then the next thing happens. And then a week goes by. Then 2 weeks goes by. Then a month goes by. Unless you wake up and realize and hold yourself accountable and your feet to the fire, which is what I'm doing with my clients, which is, listen, you agreed to this. You want this. You need to complete these action steps. The only way to know if what you want to do will work is if you send it out into the universe and try things. We get afraid a lot. You may not feel that way. It may be a lot of subconscious stuff that happens, not consciously, but subconsciously, that's what's happening. So just as a side note, please be aware of what action you're taking and how much of it you're taking. Because if you're getting to the point of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you're like, gee, things haven't changed, really look back and say, well, what action did I really take? Did I write my blog post? Did I put out my video? The type of things that I send out a newsletter, the type of things that you're connecting with others on a regular basis. If you're not doing that, but you're doing behind the scenes stuff, that's not action. And that's why you are sitting where you are, right? The danger is a year goes by, 5 years goes by, time marches on, and we wake up later in life. But the good news is I believe in divine timing always. As long as you're breathing, I don't care if you're 40, 50, 60, 70, I don't care what age you are. I work with people from their 20s up to 75, 80. I haven't had an 80-year-old, but I have someone in their 70s, and she's kicking butt right now. So it doesn't matter. You're ready when you're ready. And I believe for most of us, it's usually from 40 to 50 is when we have our second chance, I think, at second part of our lives to really kick butt. But the good news is now you're ready, you're stronger, you probably have more, funds in your pocket to make things happen. You have a wider network, and you've had some experiences to pull from. So you are definitely in the right place. But I just wanted to put that out there really quickly. Take action, but make sure it's aligned action, not just any action. It has to be aligned with what you want. So in other words, make your master plan, but put in the action, and just make sure that every day you craft aside some time to take that action. Now that blends perfectly into what I want to talk about today, which is processing. Okay, so what do I mean by processing? So many of you, myself included, we are processing. That when I say that, I mean at all times of the day, you have millions of stimuli coming towards you, right? You have friends talking to you, you have your work, you have, if you have to take care of a loved one who's sick, you have to make plans, you've got so much that you're trying to do. And we are always processing information very, very quickly, very rapidly. That's what our brain does. However, everything comes down to energy. And for someone like you, who's an 11, who's sensitive, who's an empath, who's a light worker, who is processing information very quickly, a lot of times what happens is we have a threshold, okay? So You need to understand how fast and how much you are processing on a daily basis. So do you go to bed extremely tired, or do you lay down and your brain still's going like mine does, like a top, never stops? If it still goes, I can help you with that. But you need to understand that the other tough part of this is that I always think of us like a battery, your energy like a battery, okay? If your energy level is low in any of the four different containers that I talk about, which is, your physical health, your emotional health, your professional, whatever you do, and your personal, whoever you're with, right? Emotional. Any of those cups, containers is low, they all go together. They're not separate. So it's not like one can be almost at, think of your gas tank, very, very low, and then the rest can be high and you're okay. It's everything works together in your body, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit, in your tuition. It's all connected, all of it. And the energy is the output. That's what you put out into the world. You put out you already know this, but I'm just saying again. They're saying, tell them again. If you put out a low vibration, if you're tired, if you haven't eaten, a lot of us, like maybe you're like one of those people who has hypoglycemia, who has to eat at certain times. Because you're empathic, because you're sensitive, your body, you have to understand, your body's not like everyone else, and your mind's not like everyone else. You're always going. You're always thinking. You're always working things through a million different ways. You take one scenario and we can look at it 50 different ways. We do it all the time. Okay. So here's the thing. If you are processing too much, your energy level is down, what's going to happen? Something will happen as a byproduct of that. Well, one, your energy goes out into the world in a lower vibration. What does that mean? You're frustrated, you're angry, you're ticked off, you hate life. That feeling when somebody cuts in front of you and then goes super slow. Yep, that type of thing. When I say, I wish I had a rocket launcher, which is actually a song, but I can't remember who did that song. Yeah. Or you talk to a normie, and I'm not making fun of normies, but maybe a little sometimes I do, just between us. It's no hard feelings. And they're just talking about stupid day-to-day BS, and we don't do that well. We're not built for that. We're built to go deep. We're built to be dreamers, and we're built to be doers. I know I sound like that Pain and Gain movie. You guys, can I just say, if you haven't seen that Pain and Gain movie, you got to see it. Got to see it. It's amazing. Anyways, because it's like Mark Wahlberg's in it and The Rock, and it's like I'm a doer. He's watching this guy that I forgot the guy's name. He was in The Hangover, the Asian guy. I forgot his name. And the guy's like, he's at an event, and the guy's like, be a doer, And they go, I'm a doer. I digress. But that's how we are. But here's the thing. Here's the dark side of processing too much. Ready? Not only will you put out the negative energy, which is not good, because that all comes back to you. The universe is always listening, and you get it back tenfold, sometimes even 100-fold, it feels like, right? That's why your energy is everything. Energy is everything. That's why animals help us with our energy, whether you know it or not. They try to help us and take it off away from us. If you're processing, you've been around somebody negative at work. I have a client who works with two very difficult people. He needs to learn to offload the energy, right? Because he takes it on, but he doesn't let it go. You need to let it go, flow through you, right? Out. You hold on to it. Now you've got your negative, your frustration, their negative, all going out into the world. It's coming back to you 100-fold. You don't want that. More importantly, here's where I'm going with this. You will be affected personally. How? You may be tired. You may get sick. For me, I had migraines. And I'm not talking about a migraine taking a leave and you're all good. I'm talking about a migraine where I lose a day in my life. I would have to lay down in a dark room. I would be sick. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. You're kind of just in that in-between place of, oh my gosh, please help me. It's not even Twilight because Twilight's fun. It is kind of its own private hell. Everything hurts. I had to be in a completely dark room. And it started from the second I woke up, and I'd be fine the night before. Second I woke up to maybe 8 o'clock at night. It's awful. I lost so many days of my life. So many. Why? Because of stress. Because I was processing too much. I wasn't eating correctly. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was traveling. All these things count. So if this is you and you're processing a lot, which you are, it becomes a burden, and that will affect you. So how can we understand this a little bit better? You need to understand yourself, because everything's energy. So as an example, if you're like me, when I work with clients, I can only work with a certain amount of clients a day because I only have so much energy, even in tip-top shape. And I try to be in as best shape as I can by sleeping enough, drinking water, eating right, all that good stuff. Okay. It's very important, way more than you think. And I know a lot of us will be like, yeah, whatever, I can slide by. You will be able to for a while, but the older you get, the harder it is what I'm going to say. You have to understand your limits, right? It's just like when you go to the gym and you're lifting weights and it's like, okay, I'm doing a leg press and I've got 2 big plates and then 2 25s and I want to do a little more, right? But how much can I actually do without me breaking down or hurting myself? Because that's not the object. The object is to do a little bit more, but us, we just want to go forward and do it big because we're all or nothing people. So you've got to learn the limits of you. How much energy do you have? How are you feeling? And when you start to get tired, you need to back off of what you're doing. Okay. So you need to, if you can, make your schedule. If you're working corporate, I understand. I did it for years, but you've got to know how you're affected by certain outside stimuli. Talking to people. If you don't get enough sleep, that counts. If you don't work out, that counts. If you interact with people that drain you or are very difficult, that counts. If you are taking on any of their energy or burdens, even if it's subconscious, please pay attention to how you're feeling. Okay, and know your limits. So, for example, I know I cannot do more than 2 clients a day because that's 4 hours of energy for me. And even that's a lot. And there's been times where the next day I need to completely rest. If I did more than that, I'd be sick. And if I did it consecutively, it wouldn't be good for me. It's not worth the money because I don't want to be sick. So I now know and take steps to stop myself. So if you're sick or if this is new to you, please pay attention to how you're feeling and try to pinpoint what, if anything, is giving you stress, and then either get away from that or bring it down to bite-sized chunks if you can. In other words, if you work with somebody who's really drives you nuts and tests you, if possible, try to keep that limited amount of time, or not every day, maybe every other day or something like that. Figure out ways that you cannot be around this person, right? Or it can be something that you're doing for work or a passion project that you have, but you only have so much energy in you. Know what takes the most effort and energy from you, and you'll see how do you feel. How do you feel at 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock when you go to work or start work, and then by 5 you're super tired? Or are you the opposite? Like I am. I'm a night creature. I'm an owl, right? So I don't have any clients until at least 11, ever, like on purpose, because I'm very slow in the morning. But I can work till 2:30 at night. But however, I have learned if I do that, if I stop at 12, I have a lot more energy than if I stopped at 2:30 in the morning. That makes sense? So number one, know what takes your energy on a daily basis, right? Depletes you. Number two, understand, am I taking on other people's burdens or bad energy, trying to help them. And if you are, that's a no-no. Okay. Now, this is a big deal. I didn't learn this until later in life, but it's an absolute truth. And this is not a joke. We as 11s want to help everybody, animals, everything. However, you can't help everyone or every animal or every circumstance. And when you take on somebody else's burdens, you have karma because you're not letting them learn their lesson. More importantly, or just as important, is if you do not release the energy, it's stuck in you. Now you've got the karma of not letting them have learned their lesson, which they'll have to learn another time, which sucks for them. And you, if you still have their burdens in your soul and heart, you're carrying that. You think, I'm trying to help them. Guess what? They don't even feel that. Not one bit. They're out chilling, having fun. You're suffering with their bad energy. You need to let that out and let that go. If you want to learn how to do that, you'd have to sign up with me. But you need to let things go. So, understanding your energy is hugely important. Understanding if you're taking on other people's junk, hugely important. And then get rid of it. But know how much energy you actually can expend without getting yourself sick or feeling bad. Okay? I hope this helps you guys. This is going to be, I think, the first video under abundance, or I'm not sure about abundance, but it's definitely going to be helpful for you when you figure this out. And if you need help and you want a session, like I said, all the information is below. Click the link. Happy to help. But this changed my whole world, because when this happened, knock on wood, all the other stuff stopped because I pulled back. It's like you're driving down the road and you know a sharp turn's coming and you're going too fast, right? And if you go too fast, you're gonna fly off and hit the water. Not good. You got to slow down, right? Because you're gonna go around a turn. So that's what I mean when I say don't interact with people. You know what? Also, shut your phone off. Shut your phone off. If you have your own business, set times that you're working. Don't work all day long. Set times, like batch stuff out and then stop. It will help you a lot. All right, guys, I'm sending you so much love. I hope this helped you. Please let me know if it did, what you learned. And if you like this type of video, I just felt like really teaching something. And it's very important. And understand everything's energy. All right, guys, thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon.